Welcome into the tool shed. That's not me, that's my wife, Penny. I am Warren Seegers.
I'm the guest.
Yeah, this show's starting off right, just like we like it. Darn Murphy and Mayhem, I hate those boys. Anyway, this is a tool shed. I am Warren Seegers. This is the show where we talk about home improvement and home ownership. We've already revealed who our guest is tonight. Penny, my wife. Again, thanks for the show.
Yes.
So we're doing something a little bit different. Normally we have someone in here that is from the trades of, construction, home improvement type stuff. But we have just recently completed our kitchen.
Yeah,
the whole remodel is done.
Completely.
One room, right?
I don't even think you can actually call it a remodel. It's it was not even a kitchen when we started, and now it's a kitchen, and now it's all the finishing touches, and it's actually done.
Fun. It's like where most of the people hang out all the time, Every party that's good always ends up in the kitchen, right?
Right, absolutely.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go back in time. We're going to show clips from the Edifice venture throughout the years of when we were doing the construction. So you can see what we started with all the way through to now present day, and then we're actually going to go into the kitchen live and
hang out in
the kitchen. So maybe this will become a great show, like a great party. It'll end up in the kitchen, hopefully. Anyway.
No food.
Yeah, we did eat. And that was good, Sloppy Joe's, by the way. So anyway, we got video clips. So let's go ahead and the first clip we have is the very, very beginning. It was kind of funny when I was preparing all the clips to watch tonight. I forgot what it looked like
when we would come into the building and there was
dark
absolutely
and dreary
nothing
and
here.
creepy.
And not just dark and dreary and creepy, but just odd. You'll see anomalies that shouldn't happen with an actual closed-in building.
Right. All right, go ahead and roll clip one.
November 22nd, 2009. We already had a portion of the ceiling that would not have electrical work running through it insulated. Since that portion had no electrical, we could also drywall it.
These gloves suck for carrying drywall. They don't give you any gripping power.
It was a light work day. We only put 4 sheets of drywall up. Here's a drywalling tip that you can use. After you have a sheet secured enough to stay in place, use a chalk line to mark where the studs run. That way you'll be sure to hit the studs with the drywall screws. The drywall went up quick, but the insulation went up quicker. We are using Textrifying insulation. Not only is it very green, it's easy to install. It cuts with a utility knife, and it stays in the studs without having to use staples.
The boys just got little helper kits, which include hard hat, suspenders, tool belts with tools, and pencils. So we should never lose pencils again because that's their job to get these pencils here. Hold that.
December 30th, 2009. We finally had a plan in stone for the layout of the kitchen.
All right, this is what our kitchen is going to look like.
Well, that shows at least half the kitchen. Let's take a more detailed look at the layout. The overall dimensions are 20 feet by 14 feet, giving us 280 square feet of space to work with. The space will be divided in 2, with a half wall defining 2 separate areas. The left side will be for food preparation, and the right will be a dining area. Don't forget, we bought the countertops before the cabinets, so everything was designed around them. This was the best layout of the countertops that we could see, but we would still have to cut the quartz later to make it fit. Yeah, that should be some interesting video by itself. We also decided to build additional walls on each side of the entrance to compensate for the imaginary kitchen cabinets. The appliances will be placed between or under the counterpieces as such. Range-top stove, refrigerator, under-counter dishwasher, and an under-counter wall oven. Our current home has the minimal amount of electric receptacles, which most of the time is a major inconvenience. So we went all out. We installed 8 15-amp receps in the dining area and 9 20-amp receps above the counters for general appliances like a toaster, blender, and can opener, to name a few. Each major appliance was put on its own breaker. The range-top stove will be wired with a 50-amp breaker, The disposal, dishwasher, refrigerator, and microwave will be wired to a 20 amp breaker, and the under-counter wall stove a 30 amp breaker. One important note, all outlets in the preparation side will be connected to a GFI breaker. For lighting, each side will have its own switch that will power 3 inset ceiling lights. Additionally, a fan will be installed on each side with separate switches. This will help in reducing the amount of power consumption. That way, if only one area is being used, we can cut the total number of lights powered in half. So with a plan in place, it was time to get busy.
It's a punching bag.
It's all fun and games, so punching back.
Hey, Jim. Jim, are you a plumber?
Okay, I mean really, get busy.
We're running all the electric cables through the wall. We have to leave about a foot hanging out of the box with the end stripped back so when they do the inspection they can see the wiring unconnected, and that's called the rough out. While we're putting these in, one thing we're making sure of that our receptacle boxes are 18 inches off the ground. That's handicap accessible, which my mom is handicapped, so we wanted to make sure that we had everything accessible for her in the home. When you're drilling the holes to the studs, you got to make sure that you're centered in the stud, and the hole is what, Jim?
At least an inch and a quarter clearance on both sides.
And we're putting a 3/4 inch hole through the studs, and you have to make sure that they're centered in the stud when you drill those through.
To best utilize our time, Jim continued to work on the electricity, and I started, with the help of the boys, on the half wall in the center of the kitchen.
Hey, draw the line.
Of course, something wasn't measuring up right.
Why is it shorter?
What's shorter?
That's shorter than that.
Holy crap. How'd that happen? Those are 35, right?
No way.
This wasn't the first time, nor would it be the last time I would have to take something apart and start over again. I may have been upset, but the boys were just happy to help. Thanks for taking that apart, boys. Flashback. We bought the building in December of 2005. We began the rehab in March of 2006. 3 years passed, and it was now January 2009. Looking at what was completed to date, it appeared we hadn't done much. The month of January wouldn't help our progress either. The snow started falling, and we were only able to work one day, January 2nd, 2009. The day we put in the recessed lighting and boxes for the fans. The first step was to figure the center for each side for placement of the fan boxes. Sometimes I think we're mathematically challenged.
1/16, so that would be 58.
Okay, half the width was simple, but the length a little more challenging with a measurement of 165 inches. The fastest way to figure half the length for me is to fold the tape measure in half. But Penny insisted on amazing us with her mathematical genius.
What's it say?
So it's going to be 80.
2.5.
Hold on, let me figure it out. Let me see if I can get it. Half of 100 is 50, half of 60 is 30, and half of 5 is 2.5, so 82.5.
Yep, that's what we got. And it was faster than yours.
Even when your math is right, things still don't figure out correctly in a building this old. The bar the fan box would be mounted to was 16 inches long, at a minimum. The truss is more or less 16 inches on center.
Uh-oh. We have a bigger problem.
Yep, the space between the two trusses was less than 16 inches by an inch.
So you just have to cut the very tip off, about a half inch off.
So we had to make a modification to make it fit.
All right.
Everything went smoother after we modified the fan hangers. By the end of the day, we had the fan boxes mounted, the inset lighting installed, and ran the wire to the breaker box to be connected at a later date.
All right, so that clip didn't have the weird anomaly I was talking about. That was going to be in the next one.
But
that does
did you
show
see how young the kids looked?
Yeah.
Just to let you know, what was the date that
That would have had to have been.
it was in the very beginning of the clip, but I didn't catch it. But
that would have had to been like in early of the 2008, maybe 2009.
So we're revealing the end of the project, not the whole project, but we're going to reveal what the kitchen looks like tonight.
Yeah.
That's done.
That's
and
done.
we started remodeling this kitchen when?
Well, we bought the build. Okay, so a little history of the building, because people always ask, is we bought it in December of 2005 while you were on active duty as a drill sergeant down at Fort Benning, Georgia. So if you go back and watch the whole show, we talk about that. And we didn't actually start working on it. The only thing we did was the roof actually just the roof right after, while you were down there. So it was the 2006 area time frame. And then we didn't actually work on anything until 2007 when you got back off of active duty. So when we finally got to the kitchen, that probably would have been 2008, because
Exactly.
you know, a lot of that first year was shoring up some of the outside, some doors, different
we
things
used
like
to
that.
sleep here in the building. Like when we were doing, like on the weekends,
when
we
we
just
camp,
steer here, and
and in
we
the
would
summer.
sleep in the kitchen. We just put cots out all over the place with everybody. So, but that was back when.
Well, we wouldn't have been able to do that at first. When we couldn't spend the night at first. It wasn't until we got the floor done in the kitchen
Right.
and some
So,
doors.
long story short, how many years ago do you think we started on the kitchen?
That
If someone
drywall,
was
that would
out
have
there
been like
watching-
2008. It had to have been like 2008.
2008. I think it might have been 2009, 2008. So anyway, yeah, and the boys, oh my gosh, they were so little. And just to let you know, the boys were little there. One of the boys is directing the show right now and probably taller, just by a smidge taller than me. So, all right. And
The
then-
other one has a full beard.
Yeah. So to kind of give you an idea also of the condition of this building when we first bought it, there was snow.
Well, that's what we were going to reveal in the next clip.
Yes,
You weren't supposed to say that.
Oh, I didn't know. Well, okay.
Okay, so he gave it away. We came in one day, and there's like all the spots of the building that was not shored up because there were still cracks and big openings and everything. There was snow blowing in and on the floor. I don't like snow outside. I don't want snow in the house I'm going to live in. I was
And
like,
you know what the bad part
no.
about that was? The boys weren't old enough yet to shovel snow, so I couldn't be like, boys, get the snow shovels.
They're old
and
enough to play in it.
shovel
They're like,
this out.
woohoo, we're playing in the snow on the inside.
All right, and then then we started going in and we started doing some drywall, and actually we have a tip here actually on backer boards. So let's go ahead and watch that video clip too. We have snow in the building. As you can see, that's not dust coming through that. That's actually snow. It looks like a snow machine. I guess around Christmas, this will be really festive to have in the house. It's not even Christmas time. It's actually February. Almost March, and we're still getting snow. Penny finally got here today after taking Zane to a birthday party, and when she got here, things really started rolling along with her help. So we got all the backers up in the kitchen except for the area that she made a mistake and had us put drywall up on the wall there, and we didn't have backers up yet. So we're gonna have to take her mistake down, put the backers up. Your mistake.
Your mistake.
Your mistake.
Yours.
I did.
Stop me. His fault.
This adult discussion, whether the mistake was mine or hers,
Her fault.
His fault.
Her fault.
would continue throughout the backer project.
His fault.
In case you missed what we were doing, we were putting backer boards up. The backer boards make hanging cabinets easier. No matter where you put the screw to secure the cabinets, you will hit wood. Without them, you will have to make sure you hit a stud. To put backer boards up, first prepare the area by taking the insulation out and remove any nails that are protruding. Then rip the thickness of your backers from 2x4s to use as spacers. Secure the 2x4 spacers to the inner sides of the studs. Cut your backer material to size, place the backers within the studs and screw them into the spacers.
And we are back. That snow in the building. Can you believe that? That was crazy. And
Not my favorite, no.
and what's funny about that clip is that shows how we get along when we're doing the building. We're always getting into like stupid, silly little arguments and stuff like that. But you know,
Well, that was par for the course, really. A lot of time, it also goes back to show that how often we forgot to do something in a project this size, and when you're truly DIYing, even if you do know what you're doing, if you don't have a plan and there's so much, you're going to forget something. Checklists, and I would tell them make checklists. But no, he's not a checklist kind of guy.
So bottom line is what she's saying here is that I never
was
have
his
a
fault.
plan when I do. No, it's your fault. I insist. It's not that I don't have a plan, but a lot of times the plans are in my head. I don't really put them out in blueprints or anything like that. So I forget things once. I mean, you forget things once in a while, and we got to go back and fix it. So, but anyway, even though that was a bad error on your part, you did have a great idea, because that was really close where we had everything buttoned up, everything was drywalled, floor tiles were in. But then we were like, okay, how are we going to design this? And the funny thing is, we had the countertops already because we picked them up.
One piece of the kitchen.
Right, one piece of the kitchen, and we built the whole kitchen around it. And you had a great idea then. How do you design it? What was your idea?
Well, I had thought of giving an opportunity to, we'd been watching a whole lot of different shows and I'd been going to a lot of different events and things like that. And I'm like, Ivy Tech students and students of design, they need ways to hone their skills. So I contacted the professor of the interior design and said, hey, I know that they have to do internships.
Internships, yes.
And things like that, just like any other industry. How would you like to have a building that needs a lot of design where they can basically start from scratch?
and we got 3 of them to come in here, and one of them actually works now for Chris Kramer at the Kramer Interior.
Mindy.
So Mindy Meehan.
Meehan,
yeah. So let's go ahead and roll that clip. I do believe that is number 3? Yes, 3.
March 31st, 2009. Earlier in the program, Rhonda Michelin, a design instructor at Ivy Tech Community College in South Bend, said she would ask for student volunteers to design the interior of our kitchen and greenhouse. 3 students stepped up for the challenge. But why?
I thought it would really be interesting. Good experience.
And I thought it would be a fun and interesting challenge to take on.
I'm an HGTV addict. I love watching renovations and that sort of thing.
And what were some of their ideas?
The kitchen is one of the major rooms that we're looking at.
I was thinking about the possibility of a banquette in the kitchen area so that there's enough seating for a family of 7.
Arranging, making sure it flows nice in the kitchen, everything flows well, and workspace as well.
So there you go. That was the Ivy Tech students, and all very, very talented individuals. And not only did they design the kitchen, but they also did
the greenhouse.
The greenhouse, which at a later date we'll show you that finished project. It's not even close right now.
it's used as storage at the moment.
Yes. It's kind of like a gym, You make a nice gym and then it stores clothes and junk and stuff like that. But we'll get there. So anyway, let's go ahead and watch the next video clip with them actually giving the big reveal of the plans. And we actually incorporated a lot of the ideas that they had.
Yeah, several of them.
Maybe not to 100% to the extent they had, because of when we looked for the resources, we found things that were close but not 100% exact. So let's go ahead and roll that clip.
Later that day, Jacqueline Rucker, Mindy Meehan, and Pam Young, the 3 Ivy Tech students that took on the challenge of designing the kitchen and greenhouse, made their presentation to Penny.
What we observed was, like with the kitchen area, that you wanted to make sure you had plenty of seating for at least 7 people, and that you wanted to make sure there was lots of storage as well. At least that's the part that I focused on. And so my recommendation was that you do a banquette, and I originally thought about over here, but I think this side would work out better. You can build a banquette several ways. So I've got three ways you can do it.
Okay.
First way is to get a set of cabinets. IKEA is like the cheapest way to get cabinets, but get some cabinets from IKEA.
Now this will work anywhere though, so if we still decide we want it over there, it's still going to be the same no matter which corner you put it in.
Right.
Okay.
The second option was if you did the cabinets with refurbished cabinets, which you could get from Habitat, or you could use the company that's going to do your kitchen cabinets, and you'd have reclaimed wood on the front.
Right.
The third one is because this used to be a church camp, that what if you used a church pew? And you could do 2 of them. There's one I found on eBay. It's in Carbondale, Illinois. If you pick it up, it's no charge.
Yes, that would, yeah, because that would fit right in.
You could do just one pew, and you could either sit it here, or if you decide to do it over here, just sit it and put chairs around 3 sides, or you can put 2 together if you know somebody that works with wood, and you can miter the corners.
This is the floor plan of this area here. This is a double ovens. This is a storage for your brooms. Then your cabinetry, countertop, your fridge, more countertops. The sink was in this area above the window, and your range is in this area.
Okay, now this is the floor plan over here of the banquet, and then this is a bar.
Okay.
That would be here.
Right here.
To this wall. To give the kids could be doing the homework, you could be cooking, they could be right there and give you extra seating. So, and this was my idea. This was using your shutters for the base down here.
Okay.
For like the wainscoting. This is like a refurbished knoll post cut in half.
Okay, like a porch post. Okay.
Right. And then this was your tile. Now, if you had some left over, or if you had the big ones left over, you could do a mosaic, break it up.
We have tons of tile downstairs.
Anyway, you can make, so that would be like your backsplash up here. So you could use the tile to cover up that top part there. And then for the table itself, the bar itself, I went from the website where they made the tabletops, so they use the same wood that matched your cabinets, and they can make the tabletop to match.
So the Ivy Tech students, and that was their big reveal and of what they had for us. But the next group of people that you found were
the people that make the cabinets.
The cabinets, beautiful work.
Which is, the big thing for the kitchen. So like with the Ivy Tech students, they all had 3 really great designs. Like you said, we didn't use everything in there, but you'll be able to see that with the cabinets that we found, it really worked with a lot of the things that they had talked about, and really pulled like everything together, and was really unique. It made our kitchen a really unique spot.
And these guys are really, really good. You're going to see here, they come in, they do all the measurements within the room, and they fit everything to it. It's not like a box store. This was built to the room, not bringing cabinet pieces in and fitting it. I guess the cabinets were built according to the room, not fitted in like regular standard stuff. Where you put it in.
And price-wise, it was only slightly more than what it would have been for purchase the cabinets from a box store.
Right.
You would think when you see them that the price would have been double or triple, but that wasn't the case. While it was still more than a box store, it wasn't like an extravagant amount more.
So this next clip we're going to watch is actually when you found Heritage Antique Lumber.
Right.
And they come in and they basically it was the start of getting the cabinets put into the kitchen. So let's go ahead and roll that clip.
2009 started off as a very productive year. The kitchen looked like, a kitchen. Without appliances, furniture, and cabinets, of course, but soon the kitchen would not be empty from Penny's research.
I started looking for kitchen cabinets almost immediately at the beginning of the project. I knew that was going to be one of the more expensive items, and I was really just impatient because I wanted to get it done. I looked on the internet, I looked at different cabinet shops, shopped around, and eventually there was a cabinet company out of Middleville, Michigan that really caught my eye.
We're Heritage Antique Lumber. My name's Tim.
I'm Dan.
We like to keep heritage alive. We take down old barns and take the lumber and clean it up. Instead of just selling as raw lumber, we turn it into projects. Over the years we've got a lot of experience building cabinets, framing furniture, houses, making furniture. Woodworking's in our blood.
I was very impressed with the guys from Heritage Antique Lumber. First of all, they came out to our building to measure, which was really important because none of the walls in our building are square.
Let's get a total measurement here in a minute, so we got some dimensions to start.
So this one's interior, so that'll be 1/2 inch, that'll be 5/8.
Right.
Take note of that too.
They were very attentive at listening to the ideas and the different things that we wanted to incorporate in the kitchen, and also throw in their own ideas.
We have to transition the top of this, I was talking about doing a bright box or something between the uppers and lowers. We have to transition it somehow so, we can put a smaller top on you know, for taking your countertop level, have a small top coming back to a bread cabinet that feeds right straight into the uppers.
Okay.
Is that something you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm really excited to see the design that they come up with and having some unique cabinets to our kitchen.
So we're back once again. So on that, you got to go visit them, right?
Yeah, while they were making the cabinets, we went up there to see like the product, and while they were doing it, so that we could have a glimpse of what the finished product was going to look like. And it was pretty exciting, because once I got to see that glimpse, it's like, okay, now I'm ready to see them all put together. And it was kind of cool too, because you got to see other things that they were doing, other projects, and these guys are very talented. I mean, the work that they do is amazing. So let's go ahead and look at that clip.
Since the beginning of our project, I have been shopping around for kitchen cabinets, looking for something that was unique. After a year of looking at hundreds of cabinets, one company caught my eye: Heritage Antique Lumber. They disassemble old barns and reuse the materials to make cabinets and other products. Tim Sisorda tells how they came up with this idea.
Well, it started for me, I was taking it down just to use straight lumber, just to sell it as is. But as it started to pile up, I had enough extra lumber, I started to put together a few projects that I thought would really look cool in my house. And from them projects, other people were interested in it, and it's kind of snowballed from there. And
So what all kinds of products do you make out of the barn wood besides the kitchen cabinets that we're going to look at here in a little bit that you're making for us? Do you try to use every piece of the barn, like you said, the steel and other things you take out?
well, we try to use as much of the barn as we can, because we're taking everything away. So we either have to throw it away, or we have to reuse it and put it into something else. And we can put it into just about anything you can imagine, whether it be bar tops, stools, chairs.
The list was quite extensive, so Tim and I went into the shop to look at a project in progress.
Over here is Dan. This is my uncle. Dan, this is Penny.
Hi.
Hi.
Glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Wow.
Here's one of our current projects we're working on. It's, like I said before, you get a chance to use some of this tin that we have left over from the roof, and we're just kind of using it as an access piece inside the top. And eventually this is going to be, you know, one of them thick poured finishes, so this will all be under about a ½ inch of finish, and should give a really nice look to the bar.
So the customer that you're making this bar for, did he have an idea in mind, or did he just call and say, I'm looking for a bar, can you come up with something for me?
Yeah, he came to us, seen some of our products that we've made, and told us he likes what he sees. Basically, just use your own creativity, and used up what we could, as many barn parts as we could on this, and got the roof boards, the barn tin, and some of the rafters, and the granary boards are on here.
That's exactly what I really appreciated when you guys came out and measured our kitchen, and you gave us suggestions on how to fit some of our odd angles, and it wasn't just a stock answer of this is this. You asked us what we wanted, and you were able to give us suggestions, and I really appreciated that.
What we build is we build cabinets that are designed for your space. They're your cabinets, and you're the only person that's going to have that size cabinet. You're the only place that's going to have that size kitchen.
So would you like to go look at the start we have on your kitchen?
I would love to.
After seeing that project, I could only imagine the design of our cabinets would be nothing less than great.
You can see right here we have the layout of the cabinet dimensions and the size that we set up for you guys. We've got, you know, a rough layout of your kitchen and your dimensions and your spaces, and, you know, using Lazy Susans that we have right here. You know, here they are right now, and you know, you've got like your dishwasher and your range, and we've kind of taken all your stuff, you know, along with you guys' layout for your granite that you had. You know, we put together some elevations so you can get a better picture of what your kitchen will look like, and your added desk space over in the other corner.
The cabinets looked great on paper, but what about in our kitchen? Dan showed me a sample of a finished cabinet.
We have the plywood box, the upper cabinets with the adjustable shelving in there. And then the panels, of course, are made with the barn wood. This particular panel has a stain on it. But what we're putting up for you are these. This is a natural finish right here in the barn wood.
After the visit, my anticipation of our finished cabinets being installed was even greater than before.
So Tim and Dan, right there, that just shows the craftsmanship that these guys put into this. I mean, this isn't a box store cabinet set.
When they take down a barn, they ascribe to using like every piece of that barn that they can take and be creative with it. And that is just, that creativity just blows your mind.
And I don't want to give away too much of the next video, but they use everything literally. And your favorite part, and I won't tell, we'll let you watch that, but they use the tin, the rusted tin on top of the barn. They actually use that for parts of the cabinets and everything. And when it's done, you just think it sounds gross, that it wouldn't be a nice thing.
You could see that in that past clip.
Oh, that's right.
Because in some of those inserts, but the finish, when they talk about how they got that finish, it's amazing. It blows your mind. I would never have guessed.
It does not look like tin when you're done. My first thought when I seen this special thing was it was leather. Mm-hmm. It looks like a leather. Then when you touch it, you realize it's actually tin. So the next clip we're going to watch is probably the day that you were really excited, and that's when they installed the kitchen cabinets into the kitchen and filled all the spaces with these lovely, beautiful pieces of art. I don't even call them cabinets. They were art. So let's take a look at the install of the kitchen cabinets.
It's July 27th, 2009. Our kitchen cabinets get installed tomorrow. I thought that I had all the drywall, sanding, mudding. I thought that was all done, but apparently I was severely wrong. And I was here till 3 o'clock last night. And I'm out here another night trying to get the last little details done. It's probably gonna be another late night. But the good thing is, tomorrow the kitchen cabinets will be installed. And I'm sure all this extra trouble I'm going through right now will be worth my while.
July 29th, 2009. I was able to complete the preparation for the cabinets the night before, or the morning of, or actually I think it was both. Needless to say, I was operating on very little sleep. After the cabinets arrived, my fatigue was replaced with anticipation to see them fully installed.
Kind of like Christmas, but bigger.
One by one, the cabinets were unloaded and moved into place. I was a bit surprised that it took nearly a half hour to unload all the cabinets. Dan and Tim kept unloading cabinet after cabinet from the trailer. I knew our kitchen was big, but after seeing them unload all the cabinets gave me a clearer picture how big it really is.
I didn't think it'd be this many cabinets, did you?
Once the cabinets were unloaded, it was time to install them.
Basic game plan to start things. We're going to start from this corner with the uppers, work our way around that way, and then we're going to come back through, follow them with the lowers. That way we can, you don't have to stand out 2 foot when you're setting the uppers. You can stand right underneath them to support them, so makes your life a little easier when you're doing this.
Even with the standard installation plan, life installing our cabinets wasn't easy at all.
What do you think about the squareness and levelness of this building?
You don't want to know. Square? Well, we're probably helping is what we're doing. Shims are a pretty good investment on this job, we'll just say that.
And that's why we hired someone to do it for us. As the cabinets went in, Tim would show us cool features that he and Dan had worked into our kitchen.
You guys see your pan cabinet at the bottom of your oven? We got a little pan drawer there for you.
Ah, wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Penny's favorite portion of the kitchen was an open-face shelf that had storage containers made from the tin roof from a barn.
I really like them because they can be used as vegetable bins. I can put open bags of chips in there. I can put all kinds of things that are still kind of in the packaging, but stuff that's also out of the packaging. So what makes the barn tin give it that like brown color?
Well, actually, Mother Nature takes care of most of that for us. So you can actually see if you get close up with the camera and you get the light off from all them pits. Those are like rust spots. Well, this is galvanized tin, but we took a wire wheel,
scraped all that off, so the color we got left, if we put our lacquer on top of it, you still get that rust color kind of embedded into the metal.
Dan and Tim Siswarda of Heritage Antique Lumber are second to none when it comes to taking wood and metal roofs from old barns and turning the weathered materials into beautiful kitchen cabinets.
So, now for the big reveal of the kitchen the whole completed renovation of the kitchen, okay? So I'm gonna let you talk about this because this is your big find and you really like this stuff. So I'm gonna let you talk about everything and I'll follow you around.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Okay. So go ahead.
Okay, so as you can see the cabinets, and one of the things that they had asked us was, how sanded down do we want them? And we said, don't sand them down that much, just as much as you need to, but no more, because we want to see the character. And you can see all these little, I'll pull it out here so you can see better, but we, things like leaving the knot hole. Yeah, you can see through the cabinet, but it adds just that much character to the cabinets. And I love knowing that every little feature, not even every cabinet looks exactly the same because of the coloring. And I think that just makes it look fabulous. And when they designed it, they not only designed it to fit the space of the kitchen, but they used every available space so that there wouldn't be any wasted space.
So show them this, because this looks like it's nothing, right?
Right.
It started out as
It was meant to be a broom closet.
and then we modified it with some church pew hymnal holders.
Which was your idea.
Yeah.
Because it never really worked to our liking as a broom closet. The theory was good, but the racks just didn't fit. And you modified it to be a spice rack, which is perfect because I can see everything that's in there.
And it's a huge spice rack.
It's a huge spice rack. All right, sorry about that. This is our first time going remote from our studio in the tool shed down to another room. So you're getting to see this technology first time.
So one of the things that we did use from
All right, sorry again.
wireless network issues, and now we're back. So anyway, one of the things that the Ivy Tech students came up with was doing the banquette.
Yes, yeah. So we have several things that we incorporated from them, but the banquette was church pews. And shortly after they had given us the idea for the banquettes, we found a church that was selling church pews for the church pews. We found them for $20 from one church that was selling. We picked up 3, and you were able to be the woodworker they talked about and modified it so that it fit into a banquette.
Right.
We do still need to get a table that fits a little better than this one, but that worked great with the way that you were modifying that into that corner over there. So.
Every time you say banquettes, I think of like something that was it Rockettes?
Yeah. Can't really see it here, but another thing that we did was not necessarily a full newel post, but we've got little brackets right here underneath a bar top that you built out of extra wood that we had around the house. So you were able to just slice these and stack them all along and make this bar top to match almost the cabinets. I'm going to move this one over here to you since you can't move around the kitchen too much. But this here was one of my favorites. This is, there's a shelf over here that's got 4 pull-out shelves made out of this. And this is what he was talking about, that it's the tin. And then on the outside, it has finished to almost make it look like a leather. And I can use those baskets for chip bags, for bread, for small little things that need to go here in the kitchen. And they get used for all those little itty bitty snack munchies that need to be put up.
you know, you can kind of look around and see our decorations up at the top. So as we're still collecting, but the shelves up there made a nice little area to collect food tins to go along with the age of the building, which was built in 1941. And over here is our drink station. And so we have coffee cups and old coffee cups and things up there. So a lot of great space.
This is my favorite part right here.
What we had.
This huge cabinet that goes all the way up to the roof, and then actually they have a desk built into it at the bottom here. I love this. So like the kids used to do a lot of homework here.
Yeah.
When they were younger.
When we had to watch them while I was cooking, we could sit them there, and that's where the computer was. Now we can move it somewhere else, but.
And then this was an idea from Jamie Stith, a teacher I work with. He came in here when we were putting this up, and he just happened to look up there and say, that would be a great place for a flat screen TV, and we put it there. So, and then Pete Pika helped me put this in, the fan. And at the top, that's actually leftover scraps from when they were doing the cabinets here, and I just mixed it with some tiles and made that box around it. So, just to give you another look at the kitchen. Hopefully we won't lose our network connection again, but you have this side over here. So that's, I love that. It's a desk area. We have the banquette that we made out of church pews. We have the center sort of island breakfast bar. All the cabinets. Give me another shot of those. And that's pretty much it. So.
Show us the tile.
Oh yes, and then the tiles. Sorry, the director upstairs was yelling about the tiles.
The tile. Interesting story is the big tiles were clearanced, and we didn't want it to be just a plain tile floor, so we had a whole bunch of little tiles, mostly actually 12 by 12 tiles that had been given to us, some that were this size, but some that we had to cut, and we peppered them in so you can see that not all the little tiles.
The little tiles were all scrap, by the way.
Yeah, we're all scrap, and so that's why they don't match, but they're all still earth tone colors. So we were able to make our own pattern and our own coloring with the pattern by using scrap tiles.
All right. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. So that's our big kitchen reveal. This is the no, there's three rooms in this whole over 7,000 square foot.
This one, home theater,
and
gym,
the bathroom,
and the game room.
Oh, that's right. Well, there's a few more. Yes. So we'll show all those things. But anyway, that is our show tonight. Didn't go too bad, I guess. Technically,
Yeah,
we're still getting to learn this new system and what our limitations are.
That's why we do our own stuff with the new stuff. And then if you're interested in being a guest on the show, give us a call.
Yeah, we're testing out on our stuff and messing up with us. But anyway, so that is our show tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like the kitchen. If you do like it, please give us a couple thumbs up, maybe some of those heart emojis there on Facebook. And until next week, we'll see you. DIY. You got something?
Until you die. I was just going to say, if you have any questions, even though it won't be live after right now, it'll still be up on the thing, and we monitor the comments. So feel free to still comment and ask any questions.
Yep. All right. Till next week, DIY until you die.